Hi, everyone, and welcome to our Lunch and Learn session. Thank you so much for joining us today, where we're going to take a deep dive on the MAC Cosmetics Innovation Lab here in New York City. I am joined by Jeremy Dimstra, who is the SVP Connected Experiences here at Valtech, and Sonia Anand, who is the Director of Global Omnichannel Experience at MAC Cosmetics. So Sonia, can you take it away for us?
So I'm here on behalf of MAC Cosmetics, and it's a pleasure to partner with Valtech to bring you a lunch and learn around how we, in partnership, created the innovative omnichannel store experience at Queens Center in New York City. What we really were striving to do in partnership with the Valtech team was to really create the MAC of the future. You know, what is that consumer journey in the modern day and age? From the physical store to the way our artists interact with our consumers. And, you know, the artistry element is so important to how we connect with our consumers in this day and age. And all of that harnessed around how we utilize technology to really advance the consumer journey and really cater to the consumer in both an online and offline format. And so when we started this project with Valtech, our goal really was to harness the technology that we could utilize, both new and repurposed technology, to create an inspiring studio experience for consumers where they're able to create, play, learn, and ultimately fall in love with the brand all over again. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce you virtually to the MAC Queens Center Innovation Lab.
So to help all the folks out that are watching this Retail Innovation Conference virtually, we wanted to go through the process and actually show how we pulled off this project. So we'll get into a few of the steps that we took. The first step that we took was really looking at the omnichannel entire customer journey. And what we were going for is a 360-degree experience. So what's happening with folks on .com, what's happening with folks afterwards, and really importantly, what's happening during the visit. So how do you tie everything digital into a physical store is really what we were trying to accomplish here. And to do that, we start every project with design thinking. So obviously we want to make sure that what we're building is going to be viable for the business. Is there a return on investment? The second thing we really look at is technological feasibility. On this particular project, it was an interesting one because we were doing just absolute cutting edge technology, and some of it we found out pretty rapidly during prototyping that it just wasn't feasible to do. The tech was actually impossible. And then we found some things that were really cool that we actually got into the store. The third lens we look at is sustainability. We always make sure something that we're building is good for the planet. And then finally, and most importantly, we usually start with desirability. Are people going to like the thing that we're building? So we don't want to build experiences that fall flat in a physical store. We want to make sure that things really resonate with folks, that they have just a fun and magical experience when they're there. And to do that, we go through a strategy that covers discovery, design, build, and then run and optimize. And we start everything with a good amount of research, what's out there in the world right now. MAC Cosmetics had done some really cool things with their Shanghai location. We did a lot of research on what was working and some of the things that weren't in that particular location. And then we go into ideation. So brainstorming like crazy. Any idea, from great ideas to crazy ideas to ideas that won't work and ideas that will be absolutely wonderful in space. And then the most important thing for this project was prototyping. Because it's such an innovative thing, we wanted to prototype really quickly and find out what technology and what digital experiences actually worked before kind of going into engineering and designing these things. So we were doing prototypes based on just sketches that we were putting into systems like Envision Studio, where you can click around and make sure that the customer doesn't have any friction in the experience, and that it's fun for them to use. And those prototypes help us validate what we're doing, and then as long as something gets validated that it is something customers are resonating with, we implement it and then scale that up into the store.
I think it was really important that Jeremy and I chatted about, and what really sort of led to our successful relationship together as a group was that we really built trust across the teams. These teams were spending many hours a week together, many long hours, but really working together in a cohesive, agile kind of experience. And I think by having that, especially all of us were kind of scattered all over the globe, some of us more local at times, obviously in pre-COVID, we really made sure to spend that time together and the due diligence up front, as well as align on what the brand was looking for. And so that spending that time ahead of time really allowed us to have trust in building what that ultimate solution was. And I think that really is tantamount to speak to the success of the experiences thus far.
Yeah, and I think one of the interesting things with this project was, frankly, the pandemic. And when we started it, most of the ideation sessions and all the prototypes and showing things really did happen in face-to-face conference rooms at Cosmetics in New York City. And there's a lot of travel from West Coast to East Coast and all of those things. And I thought that was great because we all got to know each other really well, and there was a lot of trust that we gained there, and that led to really seamless collaboration when we went all virtual. So we got to a point where these are digital experiences, so it's pretty easy to prototype them and show them across the internet, and I think we very rapidly got to a place where that collaboration led to a beautiful result.
So here was an example of one of the first prototypes we started with, and the store design team had created when we were thinking about what the new store environment could look like. And they did an incredible job. The team really sort of thought through every element of what an modern consumer experience would look like at MAC Cosmetics. And what went through this was more and more iteration. It's working with the tech teams to decide what made sense in which location of the store, along with the direction of the consumer. So which way would the consumer enter from? Where would they start their journey? Where would they end? Lip always has been a really big category and a core category for MAC Cosmetics, and where a lot of our consumers know us from. And so we felt like it was important to have that on one core side near the entrance so consumers can grab, go, replenish what they were looking for. On the other side, we actually ended up switching where skin was and eye was in order to create that sort of like full look journey. So a consumer could also start on the right side with the face category, build his or her eye look, and then go to lip to finish off. So that was also kind of from a journey perspective, something that we thought about. The center area, which is one of our favorite areas, is really all about co-creation. It's about when we are able to do sort of larger gatherings, creating classes around this environment, allowing consumers to grab some samples that they were able to utilize and make a look for themselves, co-create with the artists, do a live stream in one day and age. So we're really excited to see what that becomes, especially in a post-COVID environment. And it really is sort of an inviting opportunity to come sit and experience with the brand.
And I think one of the other kind of key takeaways for the folks that are watching this, it's a little bit unusual to work in the way that this project went, but I think it's really important to make the point that it's absolutely key for the folks that are designing digital systems, us at Valtech, to work hand in hand really closely with the store design and architect folks. On projects like this one and other projects that we've done for other clients, we work really, really tightly with those folks to make sure that the digital experiences, everything from the screens to the interactions to the flow of the space, work really well for the customer. And when we're looking at this really early sketch here, flipping things around and moving things so that the flow works is an integral part of this experience. And here's the beautiful final result.
And this is our finished product. Yeah, we're super excited with how it turned out. It's, you know, if you're physically in the store, which I've spent some time in the store up to now, it's bright, there's an energy to it that I think we were looking for, and we really got with this new design in the stores. You have a mix of physical and digital. So we also recognize in our journeys that we didn't necessarily want to make everything digital. There's something so tangible and exciting about having that physical engagement with the product or with our artist, who really sort of is the core to the Mac experience. And so we didn't want to overwhelm the space with just throwing iPads all over the place and making it not warm and feel inviting. And so it was really important to find that happy medium. And I think we really did that with this experience. So we're excited where it ended up.
Okay, getting into the prototypes and the user testing. This was quite a journey that we went on together.
Many journeys and versions.
Yes, very much so. I think we had 24 versions of the document that you're looking at here on the screen. So this is what I was talking about as far as prototyping and user testing in the beginning of this project. All of the screens that you see that are interconnecting there, this is just one part of the store experience where we were trying to figure out how people could move very easily from what we called station to station. So from lips to eyes to face, and then into the artist studio as well. And we wanted them to be able to do that by utilizing their personal device, their phone, which became extremely important when the pandemic came along, and we realized that, you know, people wanted to control things with their actual device. They wanted to save data to their actual device. And there were also privacy concerns that we were looking at in overcoming with this particular system. So what we landed on was a really simple, it's amazing too. Sometimes when you're doing 24 versions of prototypes, it always comes down to the simplest solution being the right one. And we utilize QR codes. So you go to a station, you scan a QR code, works on any phone, and that brings the experience down to your phone so that you can try in your eyes, and you go to the lip station and it knows what you just tried, and it can give you something based on that. So it also became a really cool way to save favorites and save products down to the phone so you could use them later, which we'll talk about more in a little bit. So really fun figuring out where there was friction and eliminating that through lots of iterations. And Sonia, you want to talk a little bit about the user interface here?
Yeah, so it was really important for us at MAC Cosmetics to ensure what we're showcasing on the screen feels like a version of ourselves. And I think, you know, as I mentioned before, beauty has been so tangible, and MAC is all about that artistry experience. So how do we create that seamless journey, as Jeremy was mentioning, kind of in the most simple way while showcasing our artistry? So, you know, we worked with the team as well as, you know, our designers worked directly with the designers at Valtech to create an experience that felt modern, that felt fresh, but at most points felt functional. You know, I think something is great if it's beautiful, but if it doesn't work, you're kind of, you know, at a standstill. So we really needed to find that, you know, mix between hybrid function as well as sort of that beautiful experience. And I do think we ultimately achieved that.
Yeah, and just something to add here, very functional user interface, but also incredibly sexy, right?
Yeah. You gotta find that mix.
Yeah, it just looks absolutely beautiful. And the cool thing too, during the prototyping, there's so much motion involved in this user interface. And it was really, really important to make sure that everything was really smooth and just fluid and just felt right. And when you walk up to a screen, it's just natural and you know what to do. And it was really surprising, actually. You can see some of the screens with a lot of words on here. That messaging was so important, and, you know, explaining to somebody what they can do on a screen was really important, and how to get into the experience and you know, make that user interface kind of sing.
And Jeremy knows I'm a huge fan of making things shorter and cleaner and wordsmithing. So we did spend a lot of time on that.
Yep, the copywriting was actually an integral part of this for sure. And again, all of this was user tested. So we went through every single screen that you see, went in front of customers. We got reactions to everything. Everything went through, you know, marketing and the folks that are working on the brand.
Creative, yep.
So speaking of prototyping and user testing, just to show an example of this, this is one of the prototypes that we actually did. The interesting thing here is this was during the pandemic. So this is how we were prototyping things virtually for folks and sending things like this where we just mock up interfaces and show how the functionality is working. We would send this over to MAC Cosmetics and they would give us their feedback and then we'd iterate on top of it. So without further ado, we'll show this prototype.
Hey, I'm Alex. I just wanted to give a quick demo of how we're using QR codes in the Mac app. So basically, we have a few different experiences. You're able to favorite products, and you're also able to take photos. So we're using the QR code so that the user can save these favorited products to their phone. And we're also using the QR code because we have multiple experience stations. So the user can go from exploring lipsticks to going to another iPad to explore eyeshadows, and they'll be able to link all of their experiences and favorite products together. Thanks. So now I'm going to open my camera app, and then I'm going to scan the QR code. I can tap on this link that pops up. And it's not quite real time yet, but my favorites will appear. And here's all of the products I favorited. Here are my photos, and I took a GIF, and it tells me what products I was wearing. It's pretty fun. And then I can also email myself my favorites.
And so this is really where we ended up and something we're thrilled about. What you're seeing here in the image on the left is our eye area in the back, followed by the back end of the art studio. Here in two screens, we're showcasing eye virtual try-on, as well as you will see what we're calling the lollipop mirrors on the left with some of the art studio looks, which you can see here kind of close on the right side. The cool part of Art Studio is with every look that we've showcased, we have the physical look right below it. So you really get that digital physical interaction, as well as we have QR codes so you can scan and take home a tutorial with you to learn how to recreate the look. And every look actually has a dialed up and a dialed down version. So some feedback and something we've learned from our consumers is that you have that consumer who's super comfortable with makeup, who's been sort of a MAC fan for so long and wants to do the full look with all elements to it. But you also have the consumer maybe who wants to go for more of a day-to-day look, something a little more subtle, something that's more manageable in terms of what products to use and how. And so with each of the looks that we've showcased, we've made sure that we have a sort of mirror version, both the dial up and dial down, to really kind of show the consumers the range of our artistry and the fact that you can really kind of create whatever look you want ultimately at MAC, regardless of sort of the intensity of that look.
All right, lips.
Lips. So this is our lip tap and try experience, which actually really combines the physical with the digital. So in store under this experience, you actually have physical bestsellers of that category. So we have a red bestsellers area and a nudes bestsellers area where the consumer can actually lift the product and that product goes on their lips immediately. And the cool part of it is that it was very sort of COVID friendly, even though that we created it pre-COVID. But the goal being to really connect what you see in that lipstick bullet with the way it would look on your face. And prior to COVID even, there was obviously always going to be some concerns about making sure, you're trying on the accuracy of the color, what you're trying on is clean. And of course, MAC Cosmetics always provides a super sanitized experience. And that's tantamount to our in-store training with our artists. But we wanted to make sure the consumer also has that level of comfort. So this experience really took that pain point of, hey, I want to try on 20 lipsticks, but I'm not going to sit there and put every lipstick on, and really made it simple for them to sort of lift the product easily and see it on their face. So this is something we're seeing consumers love, more so now even, more than before.
And we'll actually show an example of this working in the real world. So interesting things from the technology side. This is all driven by artificial intelligence. You're going to see how amazing really it is with it following your face and changing the shades in real time here. So take a look.
And start checking out some lipsticks. So I can see which ones look good on me. Definitely Ruby Woo. I can save this product. I can view details, learn more about it. Or once I'm done with this, I can go to Lookbook and really explore some of the curated looks MAC has put together for lipstick. So try this one, learn more about it. I can favorite it, then I can try on this look and do before and after. Definitely better with lipstick on. Take a photo.
That's just so cool. I love it. All right. And a little bit more on lips.
Yep, so here you can see, as I mentioned before, the two screens that are flanking lips on the left side of your screen and the right side of your screen, with the products which you can lift to actually see on your lips highlighted under the screen. We also actually have the full lip category within the experience. You can easily kind of navigate to that area to see any of our other product categories if you want to move beyond bestsellers. So really providing an experience that's full and thorough, while also really showing the consumer, you know, based on the data that we've seen from you, this is where we think you'll end up with the bestsellers. So we wanted to ensure we're catering to that consumer locally and what that Queen Center consumer expects, while also showcasing the breadth of our assortment.
Awesome. And eyes.
So eyes have taken on a new level of importance, I'll say, in a mask-wearing post-COVID environment. And so we're definitely seeing a pickup in this area. So consumers are really loving, and as you can see just in the video here, trying on a range of eye looks, all the way from your classic cat eye to a more colorful eye to sort of a simpler eye look. What's cool here is that we showcase all of the products that you need to create the look. And then you can also work with an artist here following this inspiration to really co-create what that ideal experience is for you. So maybe you don't want that extra eyeliner, or you think your eye shape is more suitable for another type of liner. This is really meant as sort of an inspiration point, while also looking at what colors and shapes work well for your eye.
I think that's a really good point that we see across, again, multiple clients is, you know, these digital tools are here to really enhance the experience between a customer and a sales associate. They're in no way meant to kind of take the place of a sales associate. It actually just gives those folks really cool tools to have a better relationship with the customers that are walking in the door.
Absolutely.
All right. And let's talk about design your palette.
So Design Your Palette was also sort of focused on the eye experience. And you can see here on the next slide that Jeremy will show you, there is a full range of eyeshadows in this experience, and consumers can actually create what their ideal palette is in different palette shapes based on the look they want to achieve. And so here we worked with the Valtech team to really create a cool, like, drag and drop digital experience to actually see what those colors would look like in your palette. So we're excited to see consumers make their own looks based on their chosen colors.
And art studio.
Yeah, Art Studio. So that, as I mentioned, was sort of that center console area where we are dialing up and dialing down looks and really showcasing through tutorials how to utilize that look. So we're looking forward to seeing that engagement, especially in a class type of format post-COVID.
Cool. And interestingly here, it's kind of tying everything together. So this is where you get lips, eyes, face all together in the art studio, trying everything on at the same time. And then it's really cool. You know, you can take that full look, save that to your phone. You take it back home with you. You can look at it later. You can create new ones and really get people interacting with the brand multiple times throughout a year, which is fantastic.
And here was what we showed earlier, actually, that we prototyped 24 times. But essentially, the MacPass Studio connects all of the digital engagement screens in store to a single place. So users can start their journey on any one of our screens, and that is the first time they get sort of their customized QR code, and they can scan that in at any subsequent experience to retain their favorites, retain their selfies, you know, tutorials that are connected with the look. So everything's in one place, and they can send it to themselves easily at the end so that they can look later, they can purchase online later. It's really a full 360-degree experience where the consumer is taking that experience outside of the store and kind of staying in the Mac ecosystem. So this is actually one of my favorite parts of the store, and I think is super fun. We actually worked with a vendor as well as Valtech to create a custom experience to allow consumers to print whatever they want really on their lipstick bullets as well as eye palettes. So you can put your name on the bullets. We have some custom emojis that you can create and put on. For the eye palettes, you can put on, a picture of your kid if you'd like, whatever feels personal to you. Because we really wanted consumers to kind of have fun with this and say, not only is this my favorite Ruby Woo lipstick, this is mine with my name on it, with my emoji on it. And it really sort of added value to the consumer's takeaway and made it also special, which will be really good for gifting this holiday season. And so this is something that, we took from our original Shanghai store, like Jeremy mentioned, and we're really excited to see how the consumers in Queens love it.
Awesome. I can't wait to get my wife some. And there you have it. So thank you, everybody, for spending half an hour with us here today. Thank you so much, Sonia.
Thank you.
For the presentation. It was super fun. And Robin for the introductions and what is soon to be a practice in editing and making this thing awesome. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Hello, everybody. Sonia, that was fun watching ourselves in a recorded world.
It was.
We're here, we're live, it's real. And we do have a few questions in a couple minutes here. So yep. The first one was from Simon Jones. What's in the store for the future? And I'll let you take that one because we have so much cool stuff, but some of it's super top secret. So.
Yeah, it's a great question. I know Denise had a similar question later on as well. What's in store? Well, we built all this great stuff. We've launched the store, and now it's time to watch, right? Really see how consumers react to the store, to the digital, the physical interactions. Obviously, we had not initially planned to launch in the middle of a pandemic. However, as Jeremy mentioned, the store is actually pretty well poised to respond to sort of this contactless experience in a very high touch manner. So really what's next is watch and learn and iterate and continue to build and fuel the knowledge to evaluate how we roll things out going forward.
Yep, love it. And I'll take one that just came in from Josh Smith. What drove the revisions for the user journey? Was it feedback from customers, prototyping, or something else? It was actually all of that. So a ton of user testing with customers happened, and those were done using really lean prototypes and trying to figure out what the best way to interface with folks was. We tried QR codes, we tried some things with RFID, we tried some things with entering data into a station when you would walk into the store, and QR codes was the simplest, most elegant solution to get that data back onto a personal device. So it went really well.
Mabel has a question here. How do you assemble the custom palettes in store? So there's actually a section of the store, as you saw in the video, where all the custom palettes are located. So we've worked with our artists and our trainers in the store to showcase sort of the usage of that area being a signal for the artists to come over and really open a conversation. I think now a lot of times you've got different types of consumers. You've got one who really wants that high touch experience, wants to be walked through every product, color matched if we can do that in certain environments. And then you've got the consumer who's a self shopper, wants to play him or herself, wants to, engage with maybe their phone and not necessarily a person. So by the consumer walking over to the palettes and we see them interacting with the screen, the artist knows to go over and open that conversation and works with the consumer to create the palette.
Love it. Awesome. There's a few more questions coming in, but I think we're running out of time here. So I think Sonia and I will take a little bit of time and type some answers to these. And if anybody has additional questions, please feel free to get in touch with us.
Thanks so much. It's been a pleasure. Thanks, Jeremy.
Absolutely. Thank you. See ya. Bye, everybody.